Hello, and welcome back to my FC24 Manager Career Mode Kit Quest with Tottenham Hotspur and Alejo Véliz. And we're going, as a reminder, we're going for the 2023-2024 third kit, the taupe haze one. See if I can find a picture of it in the club news pictures. No, I cannot. Well, that's too bad. But so we're going to quickly kind of go through the results of the season in terms of standings, owner objectives, transfer business, and then like Alejo Véliz's stats and whatnot. So we'll start off with standings. As you can see here, we once again finished in second in the Premier League with a slightly worse point total of 84 points compared to 87 last year. And see, Man City once again finished with 90 points and won. You see, they're basically almost an invincibles team. Their only losses were against us as Spurs in a match the randomizer decided I could play, but I played against them and won. And then they lost to Villa on the last day of the season. So they pretty much were an Invincibles team, which is like kind of nuts. So thanks to EA and Man City for being OP. But it is what it is. Now, in terms of some of these results, let's see, we got a lot of draws. The draw system, I was kind of using this season. It's like a new test drive kind of thing. It was like trying to make it like if it lands on draw, because you remember like in the past draw used to be like I would re-roll the randomizer, so I made a draw. The initial kind of way I had it was working was like I'd try to make it a draw no matter what. So I'd be slow simming the game. The other team scored, I'd hop in, score, hop back out. Or if I score, I'd hop in, kind of let the other team score, and then hop back into the sim. But I kind of decided that was kind of annoying to do, and kind of against some of the spirit of the game, like letting the other teams kind of score like that. So how it's gonna kind of work instead is me hopping in. So like if we go down, will still happen to try and tie the game up. And then if I don't succeed, ends as a loss. If I do succeed and redraw it back up, go back to the simulator. But if we score, instead of me just like hopping in, like letting the other team score, because it's not very fun and kind of hurts us in the long run, I'll kind of just keep simming, and like the same rules apply in terms if they tie it up, we can just keep going. If they take the lead, I'll hop in and try and tie it up. If not, I lose. If I do, great. And then also how it's going to kind of work as well in terms of games where that like extra time and pens are a thing. Extra like I'll hop in and play the extra time and try to win, because if the other team scores an extra time, it lasts like 2 seconds in like FC24 if you don't have like the match length set up super high, which I don't. So like the extra time takes like 2 seconds. So I'll play it and try and score. If I score and win, I win. If I play bad and lose, I lose. And if it goes to pens, I'll play the penalty shootout and we'll see what happens. But that's kind of the big change. The draw system's kind of changed to that. So where it's gonna, how I kind of just explained it for next season. But kind of moving on to the different competitions, we'll go to the Carabao Cup. The winner was Man City. We start off round 3 against, where are we? Chelsea. That was let me just look at my spreadsheet here. That was a simulated match with a pretty heavily rotated side. We won 3-1, as you can see, with goals from Alejo Véliz, Gianni Lo Celso, and Brendan Johnson. Round 4, we got Newcastle, drew 1-1. That was a simulated match. Gio scored in that one. We lost 3-2 on pens, unfortunate. And then Manchester City, so they won a domestic double, as I said, because they won the league and the Carabao Cup. Let's go to the FA Cup. Surprise, surprise, Man City did the domestic treble, winning the FA Cup 2-1 over Villa. If you go to where we did, we started off in round 3 against Peterborough. That was a match I played with goals from Lo Celso, Sarr, and Véliz. Round 4 was against Bristol Roar. Was another match I played with a Alejo Véliz hat-trick and a Reguilon goal as well to kind of cap off the game. And then round 5, we got matched up against Arsenal, so it was a North London derby as a simulated match, and I think I played a pretty strong side in that. I might have rotated, I'm not too sure, but we lost 2-0 either way. So our FA Cup run came to a screeching halt in the 5th round. We were facing with the round of 16, I think. In terms of the European stuff, the Super Cup, which we were in, is Bayern and Dortmund. Bayern won that 1-0. Let's go to the Conference League. That was won by Man United 3-2 over Milan. And if I look correctly, Man United started out in the Conference League, so they weren't like a drop-down team. The Europa League was won by Club Brugge over Chelsea, so Chelsea lost in the final to I think they're like a Croatian or Belgian club. I don't remember 100% correctly. I'm sure they lost to them on pens. Chelsea also started out in the Europa League because they finished fifth in the last season. Remember if you remember. So there was not another drop-down team in the Champions League. Leverkusen beat Madrid on pens in the final. In terms of how he did in the Champions League group stage, we were in a group with Leipzig, Slavia Prague, and Marseille. Those matches we won 4, which were the 2 matches against Marseille and Prague, and then we drew the 2 matches against Leipzig to finish top of the group. Round of 16, we got a pretty hard draw against Barcelona, which on aggregate was 5-4. First match was 3-3, which is a draw. That was like the initial kind of draw format, so that's why it ended such a high-scoring draw. Second leg was also that kind of thing, but then we kind of got to the 90th minute. I hopped into play to make sure it would stay a draw, and then we got possession right on the edge of the box. That's when I kind of hopped in. I latest press B, took a shot with whoever it was. I think with Charleston, and he scored. So I was like, whatever. We moved on to the quarterfinals, where we played Real Sociedad, which I think both of those were simulated matches. Yeah. First leg was a 4-2 win at home, where James Madison scored 4 goals. Pretty crazy. The second leg, as you see, was 2-1, with goals from Bentancur and Richarlison. Semifinals, we got matched up against Real Madrid. Both of those were simulated, and we lost the first leg 2-3, and the second leg 1-3. So we crashed and burned in the semifinal stage, unfortunately. And then Madrid went on to lose to Leverkusen. So I think that's all the competitions that we were really in. The other ones we're interested in. So it's kind of we had a decent but not too successful season like last season. But because the board objectives were a lot higher, as you can see here, we're in the thumbs down weak territory. So kind of going on the owner objectives. Here I'm just gonna call it EA. We gotta fix some of the bugs in these in this mode. Hopefully for SC25, because it says within 2 seasons increase your club worth by 15% through player sales and competition prize money rewards. So for finishing high in the Premier League, you get 150-ish mil each season, so that's 300 mil. And then in terms of player sales, and then plus the competition prizes from the Champions League for making it to the semifinal this season, and then the 2 cup competitions in England. And then in terms of player sales, between these 2 seasons, I really haven't brought in a single player, so we have $0 in transfer expense. And in total, I've brought in another additional 162 million pounds of revenue from transfers. So I don't understand how this bar hasn't filled up at all. So, the club ownership hasn't increased. We haven't had that high of expenses, and have made a bunch of money from player sales and competition from prize money rewards, and from doing the similar stuff in past modes. This thing is filled up the meter, and we've completed the objective. It hasn't in this one for some reason, which I kept getting really mad about the board. So I'm guessing it's bugged or something, because it's not I've been losing money on transfers and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, see, we're weak at 53, so we might get fired, which we're going to kind of find out at the end here. Short term, it said sign at least 3 players younger than 20 years old with the potential blah, blah, blah. That was basically me. I completed that accidentally by some of the youth academy players I signed for the objective last season. You get the message oh, there's an unsettled youth player, and you got to call them up to the senior team or they're going to leave or whatever. So I called the 3 of them who were had that message come up, and they counted for that, I guess. Completed it. The long-term one we're not going to do because we don't play youth academy players. Short-term thing, there's 5 clean sheets in away matches. We got a bunch of clean sheets. Vicario finished second in the Prem for the Golden Glove, or Gold Glove, whatever they call it. Mixing it up the baseball term. And then the long-term one is sign 482 overall players or above. We have 4 seasons now, I guess 3 seasons after this to do it. As I said, I haven't made any player signings, which we'll kind of get into in a second, which is another kind of complaint I have with this kind of career mode stuff, which is just mad annoying. That but we'll get there in a second. Domestic success was win the title and win the FA Cup, which we did neither. We finished second to basically an Invincibles team, and then made it to round 16 in the FA Cup. So those are two big red X's. And then X for the UEFA Champions League reached the final. It made it to the semifinal, but that's also technically not the objective, so we failed that one. So all of this, I guess, is why my like manager rating is weak. In addition, like I've gotten like 3 or 4 of these like performance review things saying that like you're under close observation, which is also why I'm concerned of getting fired. Also because for whatever reason, player morale is like mad low, even though we like did really pretty well. I think most of it's like about like, oh, this is the wrong screen. Yeah, say the changes to the team sheet. Let's go here. Looking at like the starters, it's like mostly about team performance. Is like why they're all like so pissed off, or like in their individual the contract stuff. Like that's like whatever. But, like they're like the individual and team performances, they're all like upset about. So then they're all like angry, mad, whatever. So that might also contribute to us getting fired. But in terms of the transfer business, I'll kind of as we look kind of through the squad and the stats and stuff, I'll kind of go through the how many 18 pieces of business I did. So starting off was giving Ben Davies a 1-year extension at the same salary. And then after that was giving Reguilon a 3-year extension with a 5K increase in salary, £60,000 a week. And then Gio gave a 3-year extension as well with a 5K raise to 80K pounds per week. Iago Santiago, where is he? Instead of selling him like I was planning to, I decided to keep him, give him a 3-year extension and an increase from 2K pounds-ish to £10,000 a week. We then sold Emerson for £20.5 million to Nice in France, which they gave me an A grade for that transfer because, oh, I went the wrong too far. Because Jed Spence became our backup, right back instead. Alfie Devine, kind of saw. I'll scroll back down to him. 1-year loan to a Italian club. Jamie Donnelly, 1-year loan to Sheffield United in the Championship. Who is that? Matthew Craig. I think the defensive mid. Yeah, here he went on loan to a club that I have no idea where they're from. I forget. Jeff Tanganga was sold for 4.5 million to Palace, which gave me an A grade for that transfer as well. Tyrese Hall. Here we go. On 1-year loan to West Brom. As you saw, Santiago. He was on loan for a season to Coventry. Dane Scarlett. 1-year loan to Leicester in the Prem. Very barely played, but that's kind of whatever. Ashley Phillips, 1-year loan also to Sheffield United. And Alfie Dorrington to a Portuguese club. Troy Parrott was sold for £2.5 million to RB Salzburg in Austria, which is an A grade as well. Joe Roden for £11 million to Bournemouth, which is also an A. And then Alfie Whiteman for £640K to Oxford United, which is also an A. And the last one was where's the man, the myth, the legend, Tanguy Ndombele. He's leaving on a free. He signed like a pre-contract agreement with Man United because no one wanted him in the transfer market. So I wasn't going to re-sign him to sell him because it's Tanguy Ndombele. So that gave me a D grade for that. But in terms of other things, the other 2 players who are going to be leaving us after the season are Fraser Foster. His contract's running down. His overall like plummeted. So Brandon Austin's basically the same overall. So I might as well just run with him as the backup keeper. So Fraser Foster's leaving because his contract's expiring. And then Timo Werner, his loan, he had a pretty good season. His loan's expiring, and we're not gonna take up the buy option on it because he doesn't fit the criteria for transfers and whatnot that we use. But in terms of transfers, my other kind of complaint with this game is the other players I had like on the transfer block were I got Bentancur, he's on the block, and then Izuzuma was also on the transfer block, and the only teams that would send offers for them are like the other big 6 clubs in England, so like Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, and like whatever. So clubs Tottenham haven't like actually sold a player to in like forever, besides like Reguilon going on loan to Man United last season for like whatever reason because Luke Shaw got hurt or whatever, and like Reguilon was the only left back like that was probably available on loan that was like of like anywhere close to the quality that Man United wanted. But besides that, and then it's also then like clubs that like Spurs would consider like rivals in terms of like positioning, which are also clubs they haven't like sold players to in like forever. Like West Ham is like a rival. They offer all the time. Aston Villa, who finished above us last season. Newcastle, who's also kind of like finishes in and around us. We haven't like sold a player to in like forever. Are all like the only clubs that are like offering, making transfer offers for like players of quality, like 80 overall or above, that I have on the transfer block. So it's like mad annoying because to try and keep things realistic, I'm not gonna like sell to any of those clubs. But I guess because like that's the only clubs that seem to really offer for like them. Like I might next season because their contracts are expiring, I want to bring in like players that fit this like kind of like theme we're going for and like the transfer criteria I use. So I might end up selling them to like Liverpool or like Man United maybe if the two of them one of the two of them offer because Liverpool I don't really dislike all that much particularly to be honest. And then Man United's been kind of buns in this like career mode. They finished I think like sixth or something in the Prem this season, and then last season they finished like they finished like eight. They finished eighth, so they've been kind of buns in this. So like I wouldn't really feel bad selling players to them. I like, don't really dislike them all that much as a good club. So it's kind of just another annoying thing about this game is like you don't get like teams from the continent really. I get the whole like continental clubs are like broke or whatever, but like this is a video game. You can just like let like clubs like Juventus and like AC Milan and like Leverkusen and Bayern and like bigger clubs from like these other like top five leagues like make offers on like these players from the Prem. Because I would sell them to them even for like lower prices than I would for like a team in the England like the Premier League to just get rid of them, which is like also somewhat realistic. But it is what it is. Last thing to kind of look at before we kind of sim to the end here and see if I get fired or not is Alejo Véliz's stats. He made 27 appearances, which is less than last season because Richarlison wasn't hurt like the entire season. But did pretty well with 15 goals, 2 assists. So goal contribution pretty much every other game or so, which is pretty decent. And his ratings 7.05, which is the second highest on the team besides Richarlison, I think, who had like smashed it out and won the Golden Boot in the Prem with 25 goals. Yeah, so I think his like average match like rating out of 10 was the second highest on the team besides Richarlison, which is pretty solid. But he had another good season. If Richarlison's, what does Richarlison's contract expire? So yeah, we'll probably be selling, at least trying to sell Richarlison next season. So Vélez will become their primary striker. So he should get more play time and whatever, and he'll probably get a new contract and stuff. But we'll kind of get to that hopefully next season if I don't get fired. But let's kind of advance here and see what happens. In the Netherlands, I don't know why I turned the international management thing on. I thought maybe Austria or like Argentina would be in the mode, but I don't think either is. So, yes, you sent me this email like 5 times, game. Like, I get that my performance is under review. What the? Okay, Romero, what? I don't, yeah, I get the morale is like down the shitter, but okay. Let's, I guess let's see how this goes. I really have a feeling I'm gonna get fired here. We're gonna find out. Or it's either we're gonna get fired or we're gonna get like the one more season to like turn things around. Thing. Alright, we have like all of our players returning from loan. Let me like delete all those messages. Alright, Brendan Johnson. I got the, oh, I did get manager of the month in like, I think it was, yeah, April, which is nice, but whatever, let me delete these emails. I don't need them to like remember our business. There's last season's performance review. Alright, let's hit end season and see how I do. Yeah, so it's the same thing again, I think, right? So let me read this. It probably won't come as a surprise to you they're not entirely satisfied with the team's result. Bro, we finished second in the Prem. When was the last time Spurs finished that high? We have failed to achieve a number of objectives because the game is bugged and whatever. falling short of what we expected to accomplish, but on off the pitch, we're hoping for a clear commitment as well as better results from you. However, we aren't minded to rush into a decision on your future and feel you deserve another season to work towards blah blah blah. Yeah, so I get basically one more season, see if I get fired or not. So hopefully, if like we win a trophy next season, which hopefully we will, and actually do transfer business and stuff, and kind of start molding the team and my kind of vision here as manager, like we'll start getting results and win stuff with the new also draw system in place and kind of and whatnot. But so I guess that's it for the season. So next video will be because like the series is continuing, so I didn't get fired. Next episode will be the recap at the end of the 2025-2026 season. But thank you for watching. If anyone watched this, and hopefully you watch the next episode as well.